Hello everyone and welcome back to your channel. So firstly, I sincerely hope and pray that all of you are doing a little bit better at your own homes. For all those who may have been infected by the coronavirus, have recovered from the same, and for all those who are still struggling, it is important to remember that we are in this together and we will hopefully fight this particular virus very soon. On this note, we begin our today's video, which is the last aspect of the offenses against public tranquility. So आज के हम अपनी इस वीडियो में कवर करेंगे which section of your Indian Penal Code relates to promoting enmity between different classes. So what happens in case you promote enmity between different classes, different religions? What happens in those cases? Mind you, this is covered under Chapter 8 of the Indian Penal Code. Let's quickly get started. So the very first and the main section that you can go ahead and read, and that is important to understand what is the liability, is Section 153A. Broadly speaking, if you read, Section 153A deals with promoting enmity between different groups on the ground of. Now, section के अंदर ही there are certain grounds mentioned. The grounds are religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc. and doing acts prejudicial to maintenance of harmony. So in the ambit of 153A, if you promote enmity between different groups on the grounds mentioned, and there are further 3 points in this section, then you may be held liable under section 153A. Let's see 3 points कौन से हैं. Firstly, whoever by words, spoken or written, or by signs, or by visible representation, promotes or attempts to promote. So यहाँ both concepts हैं. Firstly, either you promote or you attempt to promote on the grounds of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, caste or community, or any other ground whatsoever. If such a person promotes disharmony or feeling of enmity, hatred or ill will between different religions, racial, language or any other group. So यहाँ पे the person is said to commit an offense according to section 153A. Moving to the next component is commits any act. If a person commits any act which is prejudicial to the maintenance of harmony between different religions, racial, language or regional groups or castes, and ऐसे acts disturb करते हैं या disturb कर सकते हैं public tranquility को, then also the person will be held liable under section 153A. Now, what do we understand by the second aspect? Second aspect basic simple language में ये कहता है that अगर कोई भी person ऐसा act commit करता है जो कि disturb करेंगे public tranquility को या disturb कर सकता है public tranquility को, the person will be held liable under section 153A. Basic goal is to maintain harmony between different religions, racial, language or other regional groups. So ऐसे कोई भी persons जो harmony को maintain नहीं रहने देते, जो promote करेंगे enmity, ill will और hatred among two classes or religions, will be held liable under section 153A. Now the third aspect basically deals with whoever organizes any exercise. So यहाँ पे एक activity conduct हो रही है. So any such person who promotes enmity, ill will or hatred by the conduct of such an exercise would be held liable under section 153A. So any person committing the following stated acts would be punishable with an imprisonment which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. So I hope you understood all the 3 components of section 153A. Now quickly moving forward, we'll be covering certain essential ingredients of section 153A. So basically essential ingredients would be whoever by words, either spoken or written, or by signs or by visible representation, promotes or attempts to promote disharmony or feeling of enmity, hatred, or ill will between different religions, racial, language, or regional groups or castes or communities on the grounds or the act may be prejudicial to the maintenance of harmony. Firstly, एक method होगा by which the person is trying to commit the act, that may be by words, spoken, written, committing an act, organizing any activity. So firstly, there will be a method used. Secondly, the method would definitely promote disharmony or feeling of hatred among between whom? Between religions, racial, language, or regional groups or castes, and that would definitely be on the grounds mentioned, or the act may be prejudicial to the maintenance of harmony in the society in general. Next, we'll move forward and understand scope of section 153A. Now, fair and rational criticism of religion will not make the criticism fall within the ambit of this particular section. So let's say a person is criticizing certain aspects of religion, let's say untouchability. So untouchability is criticized by person A by the use of certain words, spoken, written. So it's a rational criticism that untouchability should not prevail. Untouchability should no more be followed. It is against the norms and customs of the society. It is against our constitution. So जब हम एक rational criticism put forward करेंगे, let's say जो कि backward system of religion को challenge करेगा, उन cases में it will not come under section 153A. And secondly, the manner in which the statement is stated is also important. So let's say what kind of words are you using, what kind of statements you are making, gestures, and everything becomes important while we are judging whether a person will be liable under section 153A or not. So that depends upon the circumstances and facts of the overall case and the understanding of the judge as well. However, the manner also plays an important role. Now, we are referring to a case which is Babu Rao Patel versus the State Delhi Administration. It's a 1980 Supreme Court judgment, and in this particular judgment, Supreme Court upheld the conviction of the accused under section 153A. And the Supreme Court has also stated in the case that the section 153A is not confined to the promotion of feelings of enmity on the grounds of religion only, but it takes in promotion of such feelings on other ground as well, such as race, place of birth, residence, language, caste, or community. So I hope you understood the basic scope. A question over here, let's say a person A criticizes certain backward custom of, let's say, X religion by the means of words spoken that are couched in a dignified manner. So जो person A एक criticism put forward कर रहे हैं वो एक dignified terms में है, एक mild language use की है, which would definitely not hurt the deepest religious convictions. However, the person A is putting forward a very rational criticism of this backward practice of religion X. So क्या इस case में section 153A apply होगा? No. As I have stated, fair and rational criticism of religion is allowed, and इस case में तो words spoken are couched in a dignified manner and mild language is used. So the manner aspect is also fulfilled and the rational criticism aspect is also fulfilled, and the person will not be held liable under section 153. Moving forward, we need to understand what to prove. Firstly, it is not necessary to prove that the enmity or hatred was in fact caused. So I have already stated that an attempt to promote disharmony, ill will, or hatred would also come under section 153A. So एक attempt होगा merely, तभी वो 153A में आ जाएगा. And it's not mandatory that the hatred was in fact caused. So cause aspect को नहीं देख के court will be looking forward towards what was actually done, what was actually the intention of the person. Secondly, the matter must be read as a whole. As a whole, what do I mean by that? As a whole means the circumstances, the manner, the words, the language used. Of course, if a majority chunk of the portion of the speech clearly points out that the aim was to incite disharmony in the society, aim was to ignite hatred or ill will, definitely it will come under section 153A. But isolated incidents would be more carefully monitored by the court. Now, thirdly, take into consideration the class of readers. What kind of audience will be consuming that content? Lastly, truthful account of past events is no defense. Moving forward, I'll be stating two case laws. First is Bilal Ahmed Kalo versus Andhra Pradesh, a 1997 Supreme Court judgment. So in this particular case, Supreme Court remarked that it is important to have at least the reference of two religions in the alleged hate speech or literature. Mere inciting the feeling of one community without any mention of another group or community cannot attract the offense of section 153A. Moving forward and understanding a 2007 judgment of Supreme Court, which is Manzar Saeed Khan versus the state of Maharashtra. इस particular case में Supreme Court stated that the gist of the offense is the intention to promote feelings of enmity or hatred between different class of people. The intention to cause disorder or incite the people to violence is the main aspect or is the sine qua non of the offenses under section 153A, and the prosecution has to prove prima facie the existence of mens rea on the part of the accused. And this judgment, Supreme Court ने ये कहा that the intention to cause disorder, यानी कि एक person की intention that this particular act will be committed by me and इसके consequences यही होंगे that disorder will be caused or it will incite people to violence. This intention is very, very important when the prosecution is trying to prove an offense under 153A. So with this, we come to the end of our video and end of our series on the offenses against public tranquility. I hope आपको ये पूरी series absolutely clear है, and thank you so much for watching. Any doubts, I'll be putting a link down in the description box below. You can definitely reach out to us from that particular link, and till then, please stay safe, stay home and keep learning.